Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about, getting a more expensive brand name rifle versus getting better ammunition. Okay, so I'm not the first to say this, but if you have to choose between the two, get the better ammunition, particularly if your goal is shooting accurately or as accurately as possible at distance. Okay, if you're shooting up close doing CQB kind of stuff, that's not going to make a difference, but you also have to allow for the possibility that you might be doing CQB stuff, but you also might be shooting out at distance. Okay, so today I pulled out these green tips from American Eagle. All right, haven't shot this in a while. I wanted to see how accurate these were going to be, and I also pulled out this rifle here from Palmetto. Now this is a rifle that I have hit a 1/2-inch group at 100 yards twice already. Okay, I don't get that 1/2-inch group all the time. I'm usually at an inch. I average about an inch with this rifle. I've hit a 3/4 inch on several occasions with this rifle, and I've hit the 1/2-inch group twice. Okay, and of course the biggest variable there is me. I mean, I'm not always going to be shooting my best. And then there's wind conditions. The wind, if you're trying to get inside of an inch at 100 yards, the wind will make a difference. Okay, a 5-mile-per-hour crosswind will move your 5.56 about a 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's it's really hard to hit a 1/2 inch group all the time. Okay, despite what some people might say, I'm the guy that does this every day. Trust me, it's not that easy. I mean, unless of course you're like locking the gun into a vite, into a sled. Okay, when I shoot, I don't lock the gun into a sled. I basically just rest the gun. So yeah, if you're locking the gun into a sled where it's like immovable, yeah, I suppose you can hit those 1/2-inch groups on a more regular basis. That's not how I shoot. So anyway, so first I shot this several times with this American Eagle green tips, and basically I was averaging about 4 inches. Even as high as 5 inches. Like I got this is I shot this a lot today. This is probably the best that I did with it. Okay, so the best that I did with the green tips at 100 yards was these 5 triangles. There was a 5-shot group. The triangles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, basically a 3-inch group at 100 yards. But if you look around, if you look at the circles, that's more of the average that I was doing. That one's at 4 inches. So let's say that's actually at 5 inches. Okay, so I was averaging 5 inches. Now you can say that these two over here are flyers, right? Let's say I know I didn't pull it that much, but let's say sometimes if you look at the rest of them, the rest of the circles, I mean they're still at 4 inches. Even if you discount these two out there. But I shot this a lot today. I was averaging about 4 inches with the green tips. Okay, so then what I did is I pulled out this Federal Gold Medal 77 grain Sierra Match King. This is I just got in like 200 rounds of this. Basically these are the first shots fired. I basically just threw out 5 shots at this. I wanted to see what it was going to do, right? 5 shots right here, and look at them. 4 are touching, okay? And then there's the flyer. I got 1 flyer that opened up the group to 3/4 of an inch. If I didn't have that 1 flyer, I would have had a 1/2-inch group here, right? So you throw in, once you start using this, right, your flyer basically opens up your group from a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch or an inch. So big difference. Okay, so this is what I was doing for most of the day with the 69 with the green tips. That's kind of typical of what I do with like most, like if I Tula, that'll probably do about the same. But even like a lot of the Remingtons, they'll also do about the same. Sometimes I'll get tighter, but with these 77 grain Sierra Matchkins, boom, I just throw them out there 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so if shooting accurately at distance is your primary goal, right? I think it matters. It doesn't matter so much what the name on the rifle is. What matters is what the ammunition that you're shooting is. And I've seen, you guys know I got a lot of rifles, Palmettos, Radicals, Rugers, and I've seen the same, you know, I've seen the same trend pretty much with all the rifles. And I've got like several Palmettos, several Radicals. I have a Colt, you know, I'm seeing the same pattern. Okay, the ammunition makes more of a difference than what the name brand on the rifle. Same thing, I got a Smith too. Same exact thing. Now, is there a place for this ammunition? And the answer is yes, because this stuff, right, or just the regular target ammo that we use, even something like Tula, right? Because I have lots of Tula. You know, for CQB stuff, for shooting, you know, out to about 100 yards, this stuff is fine, because even a 5-inch group, right? Even if you look at the more extreme example here with the green tips that opened up to 5 inches, you know, at 100 yards, 5 inches, right, is still inside a man-sized target. At 200 yards, you're still going to be inside 20 inches. So, you know, so even at 200 yards, you're gonna hit a man-sized target. And out here in the forest, you know, you're lucky if you see past 50 yards most of the time. Okay, I had a clear path here so I could shoot to 200 yards. Okay, so now the way I would plan this out, right? Like most of my magazines, right? Like let's say home defense magazines, most of my magazines are the cheaper target ammo, right? Because most of your shooting is going to be at CQB distances, okay? And then I have one magazine, right, that I have loaded with like match ammo, and I've marked it, put like painter's tape on it, and I have marked it match ammo, so I know that this is the magazine, or you can have two of them, you know. In fact, the two that I have, my match ammunitions, my match grade ammunition goes in 20-round magazines. Okay, these 20-round magazines are a lot more convenient because you're usually going to be shooting, you know, either benched or prone. All right, and what happens is the shorter magazines are less likely to hit the table or the ground if you're laying prone. So my match ammo, I put in the 20-round magazines. Okay, and I know that these magazines are just for distance shooting. And all of my 30-round magazines, they all have, you know, like military grade ammunition, and that's more for your CQB, you know, CQB out to about 100 yards, even 200 yards, it'll work. But if I need accurate shots at further distances, or, you know, because sometimes you might be seeing a really small target and you need to get more accurate, you take take two of these magazines, fill it up with the match ammo, and you know that that's the that's what you're going to use if you're trying to, if you need an accurate shot at distance. Okay, so you know, again, I'm not the first to come up with this or to make this observation, but you know, if you got to choose between a more expensive AR or more expensive ammunition, the more expensive ammunition is what's going to make the difference. You know, as far as accuracy, okay, and that's not to say buy junk rifles. I think these Palmettos are really good rifles. I mean, I use these guns to train people, so my guns like do thousands of rounds. Okay, so they hold up pretty good. I mean, I've done other videos on, you know, like an AR trigger is rated for about 5,000 rounds. Okay, so, and I usually get up to about, you know, close to 10,000 rounds. But the point is that these guns are not designed to be indestructible. They're designed to be light and affordable. So you gotta know, you have to keep track of the life expectancy of the guns. You know, your triggers they're rated for about 5,000 rounds. The bolt parts, like your firing pins, you know, your you know, the extractors, all the little parts inside the bolt, I mean, they're probably rated for about 5,000 rounds. Yes, you can stretch it out a little bit more. Now, what I do is with the guns that I would use for like a self-defense type of capacity, like I usually, like those guns usually only have 1,000, 2,000 rounds on them. I test them to the point where I know they're reliable, and that's it. Like I'll you know, I'm not going to run up high round counts on guns that I think I might use, you know, that I would want to use, let's say in a home defense type of situation. But I can also tell you guys from these other guns that I use on a daily basis for training people at different ranges that I travel to, you know, the economy budget ones, they hold up. You know, they'll hold up to what, you know, within the what they're expected to do, right? So, you know, now if you're gonna put 10,000 rounds on it, and then you're gonna say, oh, the trigger went bad, or something, some part broke inside the bolt. Yeah, that's to be expected. That's, you know, how the gun was designed. Okay, so there are my thoughts on that. If you gotta choose between ammunition and expensive guns, get the expensive ammunition if you're trying to get out the distance. The other thing I'm gonna say is training. Make sure you guys get your training. Now, I'm perfectly okay, I'm perfectly cool with people getting training through the internet, through these videos, right? Because I talk a lot, in my videos I give a lot of good detail about you know, how to train and how I train and how I train people. And one of the things that you guys will see me tell people, and I've been doing this for a purpose, right? When I train people, especially if they're going to be shooting at distance, you will notice that the thing I tell them, I focus on, is the trigger squeeze and keeping their dot or their reticle on the target after it goes bang. Okay, what you want to see when you're shooting, right? When I hit this, when I was hitting these groups over here, when I got this 3/4 inch group, this is what my, because that scope has a chevron. This is what it looked like. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, or maybe it was a little bit, maybe it was boom, boom, boom from the recoil, boom. But it didn't go boom, 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 boom. So you want the chevron or your dot to go boom and fall boom. You know, basically stay in this line, not go left, not go right. And if you're having, if you're going off, then you got to correct that either by, you know, better locking the gun, okay, or by controlling your trigger squeeze, right? So that's what's gonna get you on target at distance and give you those tight groups. So as I was starting to say, you know, between choosing between expensive gun or expensive ammunition, get the expensive ammunition. That's going to make more of a difference. And make sure, again, get the training, whether it's right here, right, you know, through the internet, that's fine. Although it does help if you have somebody coaching you, because, you know, there are a lot of people that come to me, right? They come to me because, you know, they've seen my videos. They already know in advance what they're going to be doing, right? Because what I'll do is a lot of times I'll actually send out these videos that I post. What I'll do is I'll send it to people and I say, okay, this is the exercise we're going to be doing today. You know, study it, you know, see what we're doing here so that you can expect it. And then even though they've already seen the exercise, even though they've already heard me coaching, you know, other people or explaining what I'm doing, when they actually get on the gun, they're doing something else. So it also helps if you have somebody that's like observing you and coaching you. And listen, that includes myself, right? Despite the fact that I train myself, right? That, you know, a lot of times I will go and I will get training from other people who I know are instructors, or, you know, who have different backgrounds in different fields, and I'll have them coach me as well, because for one thing, I may not be doing everything I think I'm doing, or they might give me some different ideas, you know, which I don't necessarily have to accept, but I can think about it and then decide if this is something that is going to work for me or not. So a couple of things for you guys to think about. But yeah, between expensive gun or expensive ammunition, get the expensive ammunition. That's what's going to make a bigger difference if you're shooting at distance. At CQB distance makes no difference, right? I'll use Tula right over here, you know, inside of, even up to like 50 yards, even 100 yards, I can use Tula once I'm really trying to get a really tight group. But if you, at some point, if you need to shoot at distance, you want to have a magazine full of this stuff, right? Because that's what's going to get you out, you know, give you those nice groups out to like 500 yards, right? So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.